Hello again. This video is specifically going to run through the syllabus and hopefully answer any questions that you might have about the syllabus specifically. If you end up having more questions at the end of this video, or there's something that I kind of glazed over that you wanted to know more about, then just shoot me an email and I'm happy to help. So let's get going here. I'm going to try to be brief, but sometimes I can get a little windy. So the top of this syllabus has my contact information. Emily Finney, email is the absolute best way to get a hold of me. And then I'll have online office hours from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. So that means I will be by my phone checking email during that time. And also there will be a chat space available to you at the top of your Brightspace page. At the top there will be, it'll say chat, and you can click in there and there will be an office hour space if you have a more public question and you're fine with everybody knowing that. But if you want to have a private conversation, that needs to happen during over email. My faculty supervisor's name is Dr. Mike Yo. He he's a resource to you should you feel that you need to go to him, but always your first resort should be sending me an email and we can go from there. He's not the instructor of record for this course, so he's not going to have information specific to the course. Like, he's not going to know if quiz 2 is due on Wednesday. That kind of thing needs to go through me, but there's his contact information should you feel that you need to chat with him. So we have some school information, some ed psych information, course objectives there, which might be good for you to go through. I'm going to skip to the really course specific stuff because I know that you can read the other stuff. So our course is online. It moves super fast. There is a lot of work to this course. I will not lie, it's very work intensive. If you feel like you have overcommitted this summer, or you're a little nervous about having time, you really should consider the workload of this course. It can be a lot. I'm not trying to scare you away. I just want to be really honest with you about that, because sometimes people get sort of in the middle of it and they're like, whoa, I didn't realize everything that was going to be expected of me. There is quite a bit. It's a really intensive 16-week course, and we've taken all that and shoved it down into 8 weeks. So I'm here to help you. I'm going to be really responsive to your emails. I'm going to keep your grades updated. I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible, but it's going to require a lot of commitment from you. So be prepared for that. You should typically try to access Brightspace 3 to 4 times a week. If you log on every day in the mornings or something like that, make yourself a really strict schedule. That might be a good idea. Sorry, my Facebook just popped up on the thing. So anyway, let's see. So you should expect double the workload of a typical 16-week semester, because we've shoved 16 weeks into 8. And none of the work got cut in doing that. It just got restructured a little bit. I will not accept late work. I try to have things due whenever I'm going to be grading them, so it doesn't make any sense for me to grade something on a Saturday morning and then you turn it in Monday and I have to go back and regrade. That's not fair to the other students, and it's not fair to me. So no late work will be accepted. If for some reason there's an extraordinary circumstance, death of a close family member, natural disaster, something else, of course a deadline extension can be granted in those circumstances. Please email me and we can chat about that. But in general, just, hey, Miss Finney, I forgot to turn this in. Can I turn it in late? My answer is typically going to be no. Class participation will be considered at the end of the semester. If you have like an 89.5 and I notice that you have been participating all semester, that's going to maybe factor into a roundup. Whereas if you maybe hadn't been participating as much, you might just, get the B. Class disruptions, be civil to one another. Our discussion boards are really open and really flexible, and should be a real dialogue, and in doing that sometimes it can open itself up for maybe like some, I don't know, controversy or arguments. We don't want that. Be respectful to each other. Everybody's opinion matters in this course, and you're all adults, so I trust that you'll be able to communicate effectively. Academic integrity, please review academic integrity information so that you don't end up in an academic integrity violation issue. Okay, grading. Everybody cares a lot about this, so let's make sure that we understand. So weekly discussions are worth 15% of your overall score. You have a presentation and a short paper, which is worth 15% of your overall score. You have a research paper, which is longer, and article summaries along with that. That's worth 15% of your overall score. Your midterm and your final are each worth 20%, and your quizzes are worth 15%. Your research requirement doesn't contribute to the overall points earned, but if you don't meet that, then 50 points will come off of your overall grade, so it's a deduction. I said this in the first video, but you'll want to make sure that you read and or watch the news posts every week. I'll typically post those on Sunday. There might be something that I have to say to you midweek, and so something else might show up later, but typically those will be posted on Sunday. Readings and video recordings. Read your textbook. You're going to have to read it in order to be successful in your quizzes, because it's not unlimited time on those quizzes, so be sure you're doing that. Your quizzes are due Wednesdays. There's 25 questions. They're directly related to the reading in your textbook. You'll have no more than 40 to 45 minutes to complete them, so while they're open book, you're also going to have to understand the material before you go in. There will be 8 quizzes administered, and then the lowest 2 will be dropped. Discussion assignments, we've talked about that. There's a rubric listed in the content section. Your final post is due Fridays at 11:59, but in order to get full credit, you have to post multiple times throughout the week, so be sure that you're meeting that requirement. Exam number 1, your midterm, is going to be chapters 1 through 8, and then your final is comprehensive, chapters 1 through 14. There's a project that you will be completing. We will talk more about that as time goes on. There's a lot of information there for you should you want it. There's a research requirement as well. So your project is a combination of many different things, including a paper. So it's a paper, there's a reflection component, there's a project, like a PowerPoint component, there's article summaries. All of that is going to be over the same topic. So the very first thing that you're going to turn in next week, the very first part of this project is due next week. So be thinking about it, is your topic. So you can really choose any topic that goes, read through all of this, really read it, and then think about a topic that could meet these expectations and is supported by the textbook. So you have to choose something that's really supported by the textbook. And then the articles posted in journal articles can also give you a place to start thinking. But like I said, be sure that you go through and read this whole half page here, and then this top half of the page. There's a lot of really important information there, and it really gives you a good breakdown of what's going to be expected for this project over the course of the semester, and so you want to have a good understanding before you choose your topic. And then your research requirement, SONA, or an alternative assignment if that's what you choose. Possible changes could occur, but I won't increase the requirements of the course. This is a contract between us. The Office of Student Disability Services is there for you should you need it, and there's contact information. There's the academic integrity statement, and then the tentative course schedule. This is very important. I would print it off and hang it up on your refrigerator, or tape it into your planner, or however you keep yourself organized, but this is very important. So week 1, you see your readings, syllabus, chapter 1, chapter 2. Your assignments due are weekly discussion 1 and quiz 1. Next week, chapters 3, 4, and 5, you're going to take your quiz by Wednesday. You will participate in the discussion board by Friday, and then your paper topic is due. Typically, there's quiz, discussion, and then something to do with your project due. That's typically what's due each week. So then the next week, chapters 6 and 7, you have quiz, discussion, and an article summary. And then the next week, chapter 8, quiz, discussion, and then your rough draft is due. Also, your midterm exam is due that week, but you have until Sunday, so that should give you the weekend, which typically you won't have extra work on the weekend. So if there's an exam on those weeks, I typically give you the weekend to do that. Then the next week, quiz 5, discussion 5, and then so this says rough draft due for detailed feedback, and this says rough draft due for minimal feedback. I'm going to give you feedback either way, but I'm going to be able to spend more time on your paper and give you a lot of really detailed constructive criticism if you turn it in this week, July 2nd through July 6th. But I know with the midterm that's kind of stretching it, so if you need to turn it in that next week, you can, but my time spent on it won't be able to be as much. Then the next week, quiz 6, weekly discussion 6, final paper. Then the next week, quiz 7, weekly discussion 7, and your presentations. Then the next week, quiz 8, weekly discussion 8, and your final. So there's 3 big things due each week: quiz, weekly discussion, and then something with your project or some sort of exam. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I know this went pretty fast, but I know nobody wants to watch me ramble for a whole bunch of hours on your syllabus. So please let me know if you need anything. I look forward to working with you.